for my first equation, I'm solving 4x squared minus 2 equals negative 38. We need to isolate 4x squared by itself, but there is a negative 2 attached to it, so to isolate it, we're going to add 2 to both sides to cancel out the negative 2. So we end up getting 4x squared equal to negative 36. Now we want to get x squared by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 4, which ends up giving us negative 9, because there's still a square to it. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root, I always include the positive and negative roots. Gets me x equals plus or minus 3i. For my next equation, I will be solving 2x squared minus 3x minus 20, which equals 0. And solving this, I will be using the method of factoring. So first I'm going to do the box method, and I'm going to find two numbers that add up to negative 3 but multiply to negative 2. So the first two numbers that I have are negative 5 and 4. To the box, I'm going to add 2x minus 5 to the top, and to the side I'm going to add x plus 4. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 gives me negative 5x, and then 2x times 4 gives me 8x, and then 4 times negative 5 gets me negative 20. So now I want to find what x is equal to, so I'm going to make the equations equal to 0 and solve for x. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides to get 2x by itself, but now I still have 2x, so I will be dividing both sides of the equations by 2, which 5 over 2, and then we're doing the other equation, which is x plus 4. We're going to make it equal to 0 and solve for x. So minus 4 from both sides, which gives me x equals negative 4. Okay, I'm solving x squared minus 14x plus 42 equals 0 using completing the square. So I want to turn the left side into a perfect square trinomial. So the coefficient of x is negative 14. So half of negative 14 is negative 7. And squaring that gives 49. The constant on the left is 42, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides to reach 49. This is going to keep the equation balanced and sets up perfect square. So now my equation is x squared minus 14x plus 49 equals 7. So now the left side factors as x minus 7 squared, which equals 7. I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and now I need to isolate x, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides of the equation, which gives me x equals 7 plus or minus square root of 7. So I will be finding which one of these is equivalent to this fraction. So first we're going to identify the conjugate of the denominator. So the denominator is 5 plus 3i. So to simplify a complex fraction, I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So the conjugate of 5 plus 3i is 5 minus 3i. So now I'm going to use the box method to solve for the top. So I'm going to put negative 2 and I on top, and then 5 and negative 3i on the side. Negative 2 times 5 gives me negative 10. 5 times I gives me 5i. Negative 3i times 2, negative 2 gives me 6i. And then negative 3i times I gives me 3i squared. So now I'm going to find the whole equation. negative 3i squared. Negative I squared turns into a negative 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply negative 3 times negative 1, which gives me plus 3. And then I'm going to find the denominator, which is 25 minus 9i squared. Same thing with the negative 9. Which gives me 34. So simplifying it will give me a negative 7 plus 11i over 34.